I did, and you followed the business of a tailor. True, I was a tailor till the trade fell off. It is so hot at Marseille that really I believe the respectable inhabitants will, in time, go without any clothing whatever. But talking of heat, is there nothing I can offer you by way of refreshment? Yes, let me have a bottle of your best wine, and then, with your permission, we will resume our conversation from where we left off. As you please, sir, said Caderousse, who, anxious not to lose the present opportunity of finding a customer for one of the few bottles of Cahors still remaining in his possession, hastily raised a trap-door in the floor of the apartment they were in, which served as both parlor and kitchen. Upon issuing forth the subterranean retreat at the expiration of 5 minutes, he found the abbé seated upon a wooden stool, leaning his elbow on a table, while Margoton, whose animosity seemed appeased by the unusual command of the traveler for refreshments, had crept up to him, and had established himself very comfortably between his knees, his long, skinny neck resting on his lap, while his dim eye was fixed earnestly on the traveler's face. "Are you quite alone?" inquired the guest, as Caderousse placed before him the bottle of wine and a glass. Quite alone," replied the man, "or, at least, practically so, for my wife, who is the only person in the house besides myself, is laid up with illness and unable to render me the least assistance. Poor thing. You are married, then?" said the priest with a show of interest, glancing round as he spoke at the scanty furnishings of the apartment. "Ah, sir," said Caderousse with a sigh, "it is easy to perceive I am not a rich man, but in this world man does not thrive better for being honest." The abbé fixed on him a searching, penetrating glance. "Yes, honest, I can certainly say that much for myself," continued the innkeeper, fairly sustaining the scrutiny of the abbé's gaze. "I can boast with truth of being an honest man, and," continued he significantly, with a hand on his breast and shaking his head, "that is more than everyone can say nowadays." Oh, the mystery continues, and I pull my hair out as I try to think of how to even comment on all of this. The abbé is sizing up Caderousse's situation, taking in all the details of his poverty, so to speak. I'm wondering if, as we continue the speculation, and maybe I shouldn't, because Dumas is going to make me look like a fool, I just know it, but is he scrutinizing Caderousse's situation in order to find the pressure point on which he can bribe him or threaten him for information? Maybe. But Caderousse also seems, like, willing. He's like, whatever you want, as long as you fucking pay me something. I'm poor here. He's so excited to sell a bottle of wine to the abbé. Stepping away from the speculation, just taking the text for what we have today, what do we make of Caderousse claiming all that stuff about honesty? So, where he says, it's easy to perceive I'm not a rich man, but in this world, man does not thrive the better for being honest, saying that I might be poor, but I am honest, and, I can sleep at night because of that. And then he continues to say, yes, honest, I can certainly say that much for myself. So he is claiming honesty. I can boast with truth being an honest man, and that is more than everyone can say nowadays. So he's kind of holding on to a moral superiority by saying, I'm an honest man, and I'm clinging to that virtue, even if the world won't. Do we believe him? I mean, okay, I guess this is where my brain is going. Is this dramatic irony, or is this information, kind of foreshadowing information that we don't have yet, in that did Caderousse say something back in the day to try to prevent Dante, or clear Dante's name at some point? Is it going to be revealed that Caderousse actually went to some length after the fact, things that we did not see that will come to light soon? Or is this dramatic irony in that we know how cowardly Caderousse was with Dante being imprisoned wrongly, and said nothing? So in him claiming honesty, we understand that he's basically lying to the abbé, if not himself. I think that would be more interesting, because then it would be like sort of comeuppance. His current situation would be a sort of comeuppance, the fall that he has from society, because as we've read this chapter, he still clings to these vain things, even if he claims that he's not. talking about the what did he say at the beginning of this passage when the abbé asks him if he was a tailor, and he says, "True, I was a tailor, but till the trade fell off. It's really so hot at Marseille that I really believe that the respectable inhabitants will in time go without any clothing whatever." So he's kind of blaming everything but himself for what has happened to him. And so if he is lying to himself, it's a sort of comeuppance, maybe like a self-sabotage, intentionally or unintentionally, that his business failed and that he is now in the middle of nowhere at an inn that never gets any inhabitants, kind of a self-made purgatory. And I think the last thing I want to just kind of earmark is like the thing that gets me excited about tomorrow's episode is when the abbé, I guess I'm in Western mode here. When the abbé says, "Are you quite alone?" And Caderousse says, "Oh yeah, well, pretty much, except for my wife upstairs." Suddenly I'm like, oh, maybe this isn't a priest at all. Maybe this is like a Django situation, not the Tarantino version. I'm not even going to get into Tarantino, but the original where he's walking around as a priest carrying a coffin, but in the coffin is a Gatling gun. Maybe this is like turning out to be like a beginning of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where Lee Van Cleef is having conversation with the poor inhabitant of that village, trying to get information before shooting him. Wait, hold on. Something just occurred to me in the moment. Hold up, Dumas. What are you doing here? Okay, hold on. I think folks. I feel a little bit of a fool. I'm not even, you know what? I'm not even going to admit it this episode. I'm going to hold on to that and see how much of a fool I look like as we go into tomorrow's episode. I think I just pulled on a string that I didn't expect to pull on. Okay. All right. I feel like a fool. Oh my goodness. Join me here tomorrow. Oh boy. Okay, bye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.